the nation erupted into scenes of chaos.
A surge of infections in this country, capability to contain the infection,
Violence and widespread destruction into the early morning hours. Dozens of Americans.
What's going on, guys? This is a really important video. I just finished filming an update on behalf of our company at MySwimPro, sort of a CEO statement. And really my hope in this video is to share what leadership looks like in a time of crisis. First time CEO, worked at a few different startups, and leadership, it sort of takes different shape and form depending on the circumstance. But one thing is for sure, in a time of crisis, people look to leadership to set an example. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about what that might look like. Hope you enjoy. At MySwimPro, we deeply value the diversity of our global community members, ambassadors, and team. Together, we stand with the Black community. Together, we stand in solidarity against racism and violence because Black lives matter. When members of our community hurt, we all hurt. So that right there was a snippet of the statement that I made on behalf of our company. If you're interested in watching the full thing and checking out what MySwimPro is all about, I'll link that in the description below. In this video, we're gonna head over to the whiteboard and I'm gonna share 10 different examples of how leaders can manage in a time of crisis. It's pretty crazy, the political, the geo-socioeconomic craziness that's happening in the world right now. You know, I live in the United States and it's clear that leadership is not coming from the top in the political sphere. And so the people have taken it upon themselves. And I think whether it's in corporate or politics or whatever domain that you're in, this concept of being able to lead from the front and leading by example is critical. And as a young CEO, I'm learning this as I go. But I hope you guys enjoy this video on the whiteboard, 10 different ways to demonstrate leadership in a time of crisis. There are no office hours for leaders. It's 24/7, 365. And I want to make it perfectly clear, when we're talking about leaders, it's not just entrepreneurs, CEOs, founders. It could be a politician. You could be a coach, a parent. You might be running an organization, or you might be in a position where others look up to you for wisdom, for guidance, and for mentorship. And in this video, we're going to talk about 10 different things that leaders do in a time of crisis. Now, before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Faris Abedi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of MySwimPro. And in the last 5 years or so, we've built MySwimPro to be a global technology and media company with a distributed team that spans over 10 different time zones. The application MySwimPro has been named by Apple as the best app of the year, has been downloaded over 1 million times, and the company is doing 7 figures in revenue. We've done all of this on a little bit less than $1 million in external funding. In this channel, I help entrepreneurs take their business to the next level. And if you have an idea for starting a company or launching something, you've come to the right place. If that sounds interesting, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video. Now let's get right into it. Now the first thing I want to emphasize is the element of trust. Before we talk about this first step, it's all about trust. I want to start this quote: "A good leader leads the people from above them. A great leader leads the people from within them." And this really stems into this concept of leading by example. It's the idea of being in front. Don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. Take the first step. And a leader in any type of a crisis or in general should really be the one out in front, making moves, taking those first steps. Take the first step, set the tone, take action, and lead with confidence. And oftentimes this really separates leadership, right? You'll see it in times of crisis, whether it's political, economic, in business, or in life. Those who have the confidence and take those first steps, the rest of the team and the people around them gravitate towards that leadership. And the end result is always going to be more positive if the leader can take those first steps ahead of everyone else. And that is really their job as a leader. Secondly, a leader needs to convey empathy. You have to feel and connect on a human level to the people that you're leading, to the people that you're trying to serve, the people you are trying to unite and to empower. So think to yourself, what does it mean to be empathetic to these people? How do you connect with your team? And learn to build trust on that human level. It's so, so important. Thirdly, you have to set a clear plan. As a leader, everyone's looking at your direction. You have to be very clear in your path. And in times of certainty, the team looks to you for direction. They look to you for not only setting the example, but trying to figure out where to go. There is so much uncertainty. If we're thinking about the global pandemic of 2020, and who knows how long this is going to take. There is so much uncertainty in the air. And the team is looking to the leader as to what to do next. There is no uncertainty, but at least give us a voice of hope, of something to listen to orient ourselves. And that's why it's really important to set a clear path. Number 4 is to have swift decision making. I think this is one of the best traits that the most successful entrepreneurs can easily show for it, because there is so little information, so much uncertainty, and you have to act on this limited information. And inaction and just sitting around and sort of waiting it out is not what the leader does. That's called a follower. That is kind of waiting for other people to take action, and then you move on that. But you'll miss the boat. And in business, you'll miss the contracts. In life, you'll miss opportunities. In politics, you'll miss the ability to have influence. And all of these things really come back to the concept of swift decision making. And as an entrepreneur myself, I've experienced this countless times. When it comes to making a decision, you almost never have as much information as you'd like, and you have to make those decisions as quickly as possible with the limited information you have. Learn and repeat that process. Number 5 is to over communicate. This is probably my favorite part of all of this, because I strongly believe in the concept of over communicating. At our company, at MySwimPro, we do a regular monthly investor and community update. The entire team participates in this. When the global pandemic happened, I've written several notes to the community. When we had the tragic death of George Floyd and all of these different protests and riots that are happening, so much uncertainty and injustice is happening in the world, and I put out a letter, I communicated. And I think as a leader, it's so important to over communicate, because to be effective and regular in your communication is how you'll be the most successful in leading your team. You have to be flexible and understand that with sharing this information, even if it may seem simple, something might seem so obvious to you, but as a leader, people are looking for that communication. You have to over communicate in times of uncertainty and in times of crisis. Number 6 is to have great market intelligence. There's a lot of things going on in the world. Global pandemic, protests, riots, all of this chaotic mess basically happening all at the same time. And you have to listen to the market. And the leader really has the best pulse on not necessarily the market itself, but what's going on through the communication of team members, from being in the industry itself. Technically, your customers or the patrons or the people that you're trying to serve, they have the best industry knowledge, because they are in the market, they are in the weeds, in the trenches, at the grassroots. But you as a leader, you need to listen to what's going on and take those inputs and provide that to the team and share that information, because you have that high level perspective. Number 7 is to share positivity. You have to be the light for your team. This is the opposite of being negative. And I truly believe at MySwimPro, one of the greatest assets that I bring to the team is my positivity and my enthusiasm for what we're doing, and always looking for that silver lining. And I think all great leaders, they recognize and respect the challenges and the reality that exists in the world and the problems that they have. And although those problems seem massive and unsurmountable, there's always positivity followed by the realism. So we recognize that there are massive challenges, but we approach them with optimism. And sharing that positivity resonates through the entire team. And if you're in a position of leadership, and if you're in a position of power in whatever that you do, don't underestimate what that power is and the ability to bring positivity to everyone who listens to you. Because people do listen to you, and especially in a time of crisis, people are looking for hope, that silver lining, and you can do that as a leader. So avoid negativity and do not panic. Leaders do not panic. Fundamentally, the leader doesn't panic. The leader has to be able to separate emotion, to recognize, to empathize with the problems and the people that you're trying to help. Separate the emotion from that, look at the facts, figure out the strategy, create a clear path, because leaders share solutions with a clearly articulated message and strategy to achieve a desired outcome. And fundamentally, the leader cannot panic, because that panic and that emotion can actually obstruct and curb your ability to create that vision and articulate the messaging and strategy to get to that ultimate goal that you're trying to achieve. Number 9 is to trust the team. We come back to trust. We talk about, empowering and leading the people from within them so that people are self-motivated and empowered. You do that by over-communicating and sharing this market intelligence and having positivity and bringing that, no negativity. You bring that positivity to the team, but you have to empower the team to do their best work. And that happens through a really combination of everything that we've talked about, to have empathy for every single team member, to understand the challenges and the realities that they face, knowing and empathizing that is different than yours. And the more that you can listen, and it's difficult, you might not, if you have a big company or big organization, You can't listen to everyone. If you're a president of a nation, you can't listen to tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people, but what you can do is you can try. And people can understand and they can see when you're making an effort. So it's really important that even if you can't communicate with every single member of your team or the people that you're trying to serve, you at least stick your ear out there. Stick both ears out there, and you're actually listening to what's going on. And you make sure you're not doing selective hearing, you're really listening to everyone as best as you can. Number 10 is to always be learning. And really the process is pretty simple. You need to listen, empathize, build that trust, take action, figure out the strategy, and then learn from it, and you grow. Because in a time of crisis, things are changing, things are uncertain, you don't know what's going on, and it's super important to take that all in, separate out the emotion, look at the facts, take action, and then repeat that process. And the faster you can do that, that feedback loop, just like creating a new product or a service or trying to innovate in any capacity, you have to put yourself out there, take those first steps, learn, and continue moving. You don't know what you don't know, so you gotta stick your neck out there and take action. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's a lot of craziness out in the world. Thank you so much for being a part of my channel. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and let me know in the comments how leaders can thrive in a time of uncertainty. What do you think was missing from these 10 things? And stay tuned for next week and the week after, because I have a video every single week about startups, entrepreneurship, and early stage investing. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe and be well.